Good evening. Hello, everybody. Good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the AI GT Think webinar with Joe Daly. So today we're having an outstanding webinar with people joining us from around the world, and we have the lovely Hind as well, my friend, together here today for this webinar. So welcome everybody to the webinar. Please drop in the chat where you're from and where you're joining us today. We'll be glad to know more about you and where you're from and your expectations from today's webinar. So seeing that Joe today will be talking about worksheets and we no longer have boring worksheets. So over to you, Hind. So you're the superstar today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. We're very happy to have you with us. It's a great pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Joe Dale. Joe is an independent languages consultant from the UK who has worked with a wide range of organizations, including the Association for Language Learning and the British Council. He was host of the TESS MFL Forum for 6 years and a former Specialist Schools and Academics Trust lead practitioner, and is recognized internationally as an expert on technology and language learning. Joe has spoken at conferences and delivered training all over the world. Some of his recent projects include co-hosting a 10-part webinar series called Saturday Tech Talk in collaboration with the British Council in Indonesia and ITEL, as well as contributing to the new Santara Go project and the Supporting Schools Reform project in Algeria. He's currently the AI project lead for the National Consortium for Languages Education in the UK, and his new Facebook group, Language Teaching with AI, has already over 5,800 members. Today, Joe will present a session titled Beyond the Worksheet, AI Tools for Dynamic Language Teaching. The webinar explores how AI can help teachers move beyond static worksheets towards more interactive, engaging, and learner-driven teaching. So without further ado, Joe, the floor is yours.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That was such a lovely introduction. And thank you, Yusra, as well, for kicking us off as well. So I'm going to share my screen, if that's okay. And we've got lots to cover today. So it's lovely to see that we've got a lovely large audience watching in Zoom as well as elsewhere as well. I believe we're streaming live to Facebook as well. So welcome everybody. You're very welcome to be with me for the next hour or so. As you can see, the title of the session that has been explained already, Beyond the Worksheet, AI Tools for Dynamic Language Teaching. We're going to be looking at lots of practical ideas. I'm going to be doing everything live. So there is the possibility that things could suddenly go wrong, but hopefully it will all, touch wood, be okay. But I do want to present everything live just to show you how we can create things live. And I'll be asking for some audience participation as well for those people in the Zoom session right now. So if I give you a bit of background about myself, my background is I'm a former languages teacher. I taught French for 13 years, 3 years at secondary school level, and then 10 years at middle school level, working with 9 to 13-year-olds. So I've got upper primary and secondary school experience. And for the last 17 years, I've been an independent languages consultant. I've been literally all over the world running training, and speaking at conferences in places like Australia, New Zealand, North America, South America, the Middle East, and all over Europe. But as a result of the pandemic and Brexit, I've tended to do a lot of my work online, although I'm doing more and more face-to-face work now as well, which has been amazing. So it's really lovely to connect with people. And as has been mentioned, I've got a Facebook group called Language Teaching with AI. I'll give you the link to that a bit later on. But if you would like to request to join, you're more than welcome. Talking of ways in which you can get in contact with me, as you can see on the screen, my email address is joedale@talk21.com. On Twitter X, I'm at Joe Dale. I'm on LinkedIn as Joe Dale 100. My Facebook group, Language Teaching with AI, it's available as well. And my YouTube channel is youtube.com/@Joe Dale. And in addition to that, I'm on Blue Sky as well, if you're on Blue Sky, as Joe Dale also. So there's lots of ways in which you can get in contact with me. I will be sharing the whole presentation with you as well at the end of the presentation. And as you know, we're recording right now. I'll also write a detailed summary for Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, and Blue Sky as well after this session. Okay, so let's get into it. So what we're going to be trying to do today is looking at some very practical ways we can use AI for creating dynamic learning materials, looking at all 4 skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing, creating automatic marking quizzes, and so on and so forth. If you have any questions, feel free to either put them in the chat or in the Q&A. So for the Q&A, that will be sort of like for bigger questions. But if there are technical questions that you want to ask me, feel free to put them in the chat. But it's helpful for me if you put the letter Q in front of your question, so that I can see exactly, what's a question and what's a reflection. It's really lovely to see people literally from all over the world, Oman, Netherlands, and so on and so forth, Barcelona. It's really fantastic. So thank you everyone for coming along. So from the point of view of goals and objectives, what we're going to try and do today, we're going to try and explore some practical ways of personalizing and streamlining lesson planning, improving our prompts. I'm sure some of you are very AI savvy. Maybe some of you are more like newbies. We're going to look at ways in which we can create some assessments, some ideas around text to speech, practicing speaking and listening skills. And last but not least, we're going to look at some cool ways of using Google Gemini for creating storybooks and for vibe coding, an introduction to vibe coding, if you like, as well. So more of that later on. So to begin with, what we're going to do is I'm going to do a poll with you, if that's okay, which is called How AI Savvy Are You? I'm going to use a tool called Direct Poll to do this, which is lots of fun. And what I'd like you to think about is, do you recognize yourself as 1, 2, 3, or 4 on this slide? I'm not asking you to put this in the chat. I'm going to ask you to do it in a direct poll in a second. So 1 is new to AI with no prior experience using these tools. So you're really a newbie. You've maybe heard of ChatGPT, but that's about all. 2 would be that you've dabbled a bit. You've maybe used a tool like ChatGPT or Gemini to create a lesson plan or a reading text. 3 would be that you're using these sorts of tools regularly to help you with your lesson planning, with creating resources, etc. And then 4 is that you're really integrating AI into your workflow, and you develop some strong prompt engineering skills. So with that in mind, what we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you, this is what's called the cockpit, the back end of Direct Poll. It's a completely free tool, and you can have up to 500 people doing this live. So you can see this is the question, these are the 4 options, and then what you do is you go down to the bottom here, you go to where it says results, and you click here, and then this tab appears, and then this is what I'd like you to do, please. I'd like you to scan the QR code. I'll put this in the chat for you as well. So feel free to click on the link in the chat, and then you'll see that you'll all start getting ready, and then it will say that the presenter is about to start. So I'm going to join you as well as a delegate. So I'm just going to scan the QR code also like this. Okay, there we are. And then I can see on my screen that it will say your presenter will start the poll. Please stay tuned. So I'm going to start the poll right now. And then I'm going to press the play button here, bottom left, like that. And now you can start to vote. So I'm going to put myself as a 4. I'm going to be very interested to see how other people vote. So feel free to choose how you recognize yourself, if you're a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. Interestingly, most people at the moment are regarding themselves as a 3. When I normally do this, I find that most people regard themselves as a 2. So we've obviously got a more techno-savvy audience than the norm, which is, I suppose, what you'd expect with the webinar, particularly when we have the possibility of joining from literally all over the world. So that's really, really cool. And so I'll just give you another few seconds. If you haven't voted yet, feel free to do so. But we can see that we've got, at the minute, most people very clearly are at a 3. In other words, that you're regularly using AI tools, and you're using it for lesson planning, for resource creation, and so on and so forth. Feel free to pop in the chat how you're using AI, just to give a bit more context. And I'm delighted to see that an additional 4 people regard themselves as a 4. So that's just wonderful. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to stop the poll. I'm going to go back to the cockpit, and I'm going to click on the download results like this. And this will allow me to download this as an Excel spreadsheet. And then I'm going to go into ChatGPT, and I'm going to click on the icon there, and I'm going to click add photos and files. I am using the premium version of ChatGPT, but what I'm showing you can do in the free version. So that's fine. It's just you're limited to the number of uploads you can do within a certain period of time. And you can't upload a file if you're not logged in. If you don't create an account, you can't upload a file, but you can in the free version, but you're limited to a certain number of files in the premium version, you get access to many, many more. So now I can give a little dictation here. I'm going to say the following. Here are some results of different teachers from around the world who are expressing how AI savvy they are. Based on the results, create a table to show the percentage of each category that the teachers have chosen, and then, more importantly, suggest ways in which they can move from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4. So they can upskill their understanding of how AI can be used in teaching and learning. So this is obviously anonymous, and as a result of that, it means that the information I can use the AI to analyze the information. There's nothing personal in this, and so what it's going to do right now, if you didn't know, you can upload files into ChatGPT, and then it can give us a clear summary of the results as it is right now. So as we've said, most people are 53% regard themselves as a 3, 26 at number 4 level, and as you can see here, it's suggesting things such as, even though we didn't have anyone at level 1, attend short introductory webinars or CPD sessions on AI and education, like you are right now. So that's brilliant. Explore safe, free beginner tools, e.g. ChatGPT for generating worksheets, Brisk Teaching for quizzes. What's interesting about this is because it gets to know you over a period of time, it gets to know the sorts of things that I talk about, and that's why it's recommending some tools. To go from 2 to 3, things like join teacher communities, Facebook groups, etc., like language teaching with AI. Learn to adapt AI outputs critically by editing prompts, etc. Level 3 to 4 would be to shift from tool use to workflow design. That's an excellent suggestion. Integrate multiple tools together, or app smashing as it's called, whereby you are going from transcripts to quizzes to illustrated storybooks, etc. So that's hopefully just giving you a little flavor of how you can analyze an Excel spreadsheet by uploading. You can also upload things like images or PDFs or Word documents and so on and so forth. So that was great. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time in doing that. So that's the first little activity. That's given me an idea of the audience and how AI savvy you are. So as I said already, this is sort of drilling down into more particulars about what we're going to do today. So we're going to start off by looking at how we can build better prompts using a prompt builder, which I've created with Google Docs. I'll show you that in a second. We're then going to look at how we can make a QR code worksheet, as I call it, and then how to make an interactive quiz using Brisk Teaching. I'm then going to show you a prompt which I've created, which allows you to create your own Microsoft quiz. And then we're going to have a look at some ideas around text-to-speech, looking at single speaker text-to-speech, and then some ideas around dialogues. And then we're going to look at some other ideas, such as talking avatars with Vidnos, Gemini as well, Google Gemini, Gemini Canvas, and so on and so forth. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. So to begin with, we're going to look at this particular tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this live. So I've got it here, and I'm going to copy this for you, and I'm going to put this into the chat. And what I'm going to suggest that you do is, if you would like to, you can make a copy of this. Let me just see if I can, hang on, just give me a second. I'm just going to remove the word edit and then add copy instead. That's interesting. So just give me a second. I just want to make sure that you've got the right link. Okay, so that's okay. What I'll do is I will go back to my presentation, and I've got it here for you already. So I'm going to copy that and put it in the chat. And this is what's called a force copy, which means what you can do is you can click on that, and then that will then give you the opportunity. If I show you right now, that will give you the opportunity to click make a copy, and then you've got your own copy, but you won't be editing the original. So this is the original. And so what I'd like us to do right now is to create a lesson plan right now in front of everyone's eyes. So as you can see here, it says act like an experienced, and we've got English teacher, French teacher, Spanish teacher. We're going to sit with English teacher because I think probably most of you are English teachers. And here it says I need a lesson plan, or I need a worksheet. So let's go for worksheet. And then can someone suggest a topic that we could do? It could be any topic you want. It doesn't matter. Sailing. Okay, something to do with English language teaching, maybe. Come on, be sensible. Teacher well-being. Okay. Yeah, okay. But it's something that you would, a resource that you would create for a resource that you would create for a class. I don't think that's.
Conditional.
Sorry, say again.
Conditionals.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so something like that, right? So on the, I'm not sure. Yeah, sailing. We could obviously do a lesson plan about sailing, but I think that maybe that's not exactly what we want to do. Okay, so on the conditional tense, right? This lesson is. So how long would you like the lesson to be?
25 minutes. Yeah.
So we haven't got 25 minutes, so we'll change that. That's fine. New option. So
45. Oh, okay.
I want to do it all live, so it's all good. So let's go for that. Let's do a color-coded option. There we are. Oh, let's do that again. There we are. So that's the whole point. I want to do it all live. So we're going to go for 25 minutes now. That's great. And what level would you like? A1, A2, B1, B2? What would you like?
B1.
A2, please. Oh, A1. Okay.
B1, B2? Yeah, on the conditional. Okay. So let's make sure I've written conditional correctly. Right, on the conditional tense. Right. And the skill focus is, what would you like? Would you like, if it's only 25 minutes, I would imagine we're only going to be doing one or two skills. So
Speaking.
One receptive and one productive skill, obviously. So
let's
maybe,
go for speaking and writing, shall we?
yeah,
So we
yeah.
go for speak. So I'll put speaking twice and I'll put writing twice. Right. The lesson will focus on. So it's probably going to be just grammar. Is that right? Or what would you like? Grammar and vocabulary or
Grammar.
just grammar? Let's just go for grammar. So it'll be grammar, grammar, grammar. That's fine. Okay. And then in the process, you should include. So what would you like me to be more specific about here? Can you just, if you dictate it, I can write it in. So is it an introduction to the conditional or is it something more developed than that?
An introduction.
Okay,
It's
go for that.
B1, yeah.
Beginners.
Intro, yeah.
An introduction to how to form the conditional in English. Okay. Anything you'd like to avoid? Maybe over complex sentences, something like that.
Yeah, we should grade the level, let's say, to our students as like we shouldn't go like conditional type 3 maybe. So we should stick maybe to early stages.
Okay.
1,
Okay.
2, yeah.
Avoid, creating over complex examples. Keep it simple. Now, in a real situation, I would recommend giving an example, but we haven't got time to do that right now. So I'm just going to literally, can you see what I'm doing? I'm just copying all this like that. I'm going to copy that. I might as well put it in the chat as well if you'd like to play with this yourself and put it into ChatGPT. So I'll go to now ChatGPT. I'll click new chat. I'll paste it in. So the idea of the scaffold is to make our prompt better, and we're using sort of tried and tested ideas such as act like, so asking the large language model to play a role. So that's why we've got an expression like act like an experienced English teacher. We've then got parameters such as B1, B2, 25 minutes, etc. Let's maybe go for B1, so it's more specific. So we'll go for B1. And let's get rid of just we don't need to have grammar 4 times, so we'll just have grammar once, and then I think that's all fine. Okay, and then let's go for it. So now it's going to start to build the worksheet. Okay, so by prompting this way, you should be able to get a really nice better outcome, because it's this idea of rubbish in, rubbish out. So the better the prompt, the better the outcome. So you would then look at that as a professional, and then you then work out whether you're happy with what it's done, if you think it's done a good idea or not, and so on and so forth. So you could then, if you wanted to, you could do other things. You could say, for example, I have 2 dyslexic students in my class. Can you suggest some strategies to support them? I also have a range of ability in my class. So some students are B1 and other students are B2. So could you create 2 versions of the worksheet to cater to all the needs of my students? Okay, so it's really good, I think, as well for, say, differentiation. And so in that way, you're now sort of having a back and forth with the AI. You're having a dialogic approach. And as a result of that, it's made some suggestions. It's now making some differentiated versions of the worksheets and so on and so forth. And then you would then make a decision about how you wanted to move forward with this. So, okay, so now what I could then do is I could then say the following. make a downloadable Word document for the 2 worksheets. So both worksheets in the same Word document, one after the other. At the top of each worksheet, make sure that you put the opportunity for the students to write their name, their group, and the date. Okay, there we are. And so now what it's going to do is it's going to say analyzing. It will then give me a link in a moment, and it will then allow me to download the Word document. Now, in the free version, you can only do, I think it's about 3 downloads in let's say an hour or so. So it's not unlimited. With the premium version, you get many, many more opportunities to download content. So I would recommend that you can only do a few of these, but I'm going to give you a workaround in a second. There we are. So there we are. I'll now click on that link, and that should allow me to download. There we are. So I click save, and then I can then open it up from here. Okay. And then that should, there we are. It's now opening up, and we can see what it looks like. Okay. So as I said, I'm doing this all live. So if there are any gremlins in the computer, then that's going to be interesting. But hopefully it's all going to work fine. There we are. Okay. So we've got the worksheet. It's done what I've asked it to do, name, group, date. And I've got the other version here as well. Perfect. And then you would print it out. Or you could edit it first if you wanted to. You could print it out, and away you go. Okay. Lovely. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make a QR code worksheet. Okay. I was going to do a video about Little Red Riding Hood, but I'm thinking because I'm feeling brave, maybe we should do something else in YouTube. So I'm just going to show you a little trick, which I think is very cool, which is the following. I'm going to press Y and the tab key like this. There we are. Can you see top left? It says search YouTube. I'll explain why it does that, but I'm going to put in the conditional in English. Okay. And then I'm going to search. And what it's going to do, it's going to search YouTube from the Omnibox or the search box up there. So let's see what it comes up with. Okay. And so this is all live. So I can see that I've got some videos here, etc., etc. I'm going to click on filters, and I'm going to choose under 4 minutes, which may be something which is, there we are. This should be fine, from BBC English View. Right. So I'll click on this right now.
So
there we are. And what I'm going to do, obviously I would normally watch the video for obvious reasons. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on the more option. I'm going to scroll down to where it says transcript, and I click show transcript. Okay. So if you didn't know that most YouTube clips come with their own transcript. And so as a result of that, I'm going to now drag up from the bottom like that to select it all. I'm then going to click copy like this. Okay. And I'm going to go into ChatGPT, which is here. And I'm going to go to new chat like this. Okay. So now I'm going to say something like the following. I'm going to say, based on the following transcript, create 10 multiple choice questions focusing on the conditional tense in English, aimed at B1 level learners of English. Okay, so I've got it all teed up. I then can put a colon in, for example, paste in the transcript, and then click send. And as a result of that, it's now going to create, as you can see, the quiz. Now, the reason it's put ANS:B is because it's got used to me asking for that. And as a result of that, it can now regularly give me this format. I'll explain why it's done that in a second. And now it's asking me for a downloadable Word document. For the person that's asking about, can you explain that the YouTube search option? I will do that in a second. I just want to show you this live first. So let's go back to my YouTube clip. I'm going to click the share option and copy. Go back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to now say, create a QR code for this, for the link for the YouTube clip. All right. And then I then paste in the link and send it in, and it will now create a QR code for me. Okay. So it's analyzing it. It should now produce an image. Obviously, I would need to check the image was the correct QR code I wanted. And it did link to the video. There we are. That's interesting. I've not seen it do that before, but this is the joy of doing these things live. So I could click on this link right now, and I could then download the link, or download the image, should I say. There it is. You could obviously use a tool like QR Code Monkey instead to generate the QR code, but that's fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm now going to say, create a downloadable Word document as a worksheet for this activity. At the top, put a place where the students can write their name, their group, and the date. Underneath, put the QR code with instructions for the students to scan the QR code and watch the video, and then put the 10 questions underneath that. Okay, and then I'm going to then paste that in, and hopefully it's going to say analyzing, and it's going to generate the content for me. So let's just wait for it to do that. And then in no time at all, we should get a worksheet. I will explain about what I did with the clever searching YouTube in a second. So it's now downloading the worksheet. There it is. Because it's a worksheet, obviously, then it's then editable. And there it is. Look at that. So it's done it all for me. And obviously, I'd have to just check it was all correct and it was related to the video, etc., etc. But that's wonderful. Now, a little trick which I wanted to show you, another trick, is if I go back to the previous one, let's imagine that we've run out of downloadable options with Word documents. What we can do is we've got this set of instructions for our worksheet. So what I can do is I can click on the copy option. So this will work with any ChatGPT answer that you generate. So I've clicked on the copy option. I'm then going to go to a new tab, and I'm going to put in docs.new. Docs.new, so docs.new is a quick shortcut for creating a brand new Google Doc. Okay, so docs.new. Now, as a result of that, you can then click on the Tools menu. You can go down to where it says Preferences, and you'll notice that it says Enable Markdown. Now, by default, this is turned off, but if you turn it on and you've got a tick next to Enable Markdown, what it means you can do is you can right-click and you can click here, Paste from Markdown, okay? So you do that, and can you see what it's done? It's retained all the formatting. So if you have, for example, a table, then it will remember that table and it will paste it into the Google Doc, which is really, really nice. If you, say, run out of downloadable Word documents, and then all you have to do there is click the File option, download, and download this as a Word document. So that's a way around that if you're using the free ChatGPT service. Okay. Now, in relation to the searching, let me show you what I did. What you do is you right-click and you click here where it says Manage Search Engines and Site Search, okay? Manage Search Engines and Site Search. You click on that. You then scroll down to where it says Site Search, and you click Additional Sites like this. So you can see that I've got all these little shortcuts here. And so what you could do is if you were, for example, to go onto YouTube, let's imagine YouTube is one that you go to regularly. Then what you can do is you can go to here and you can click Add. You can then put in, let's say, YouTube, like this. You put in a shortcut. So let's put in YT. Yeah, YT I haven't used before. That's good. And then I'm going to put in the URL, and then I click Add. Now, what that means is I can now go to a new tab, put in YT. Can you see underneath? It's got YouTube in bold. So I press enter, it takes me straight to that website. Okay. Now, what I've done here is if I go further on, so I've got the next slide is the QR code worksheet. So I've got an explanation of what I did there. This is the paste from Markdown, a little trick that I just showed you. And then the next one, this is a guide which I put together on what's called managing your search engines and site search. If I click here, don't forget I'm sharing the whole presentation with you. What it allows you to do is the following. So this is one of my favorite productivity tips. It goes through everything you need to do, but basically I could put in GD and go straight to my Google Drive, or YT and go straight to YouTube. But in addition to that, And these are just some of the examples that I'm using here for the putting the letter and going straight to the website. But what I showed you with YouTube is if you copy this URL in the URL box, the third option, when it comes up when you right click the Omni box and you paste in one of these, it means you can search YouTube from the Omni box, from the search bar. Likewise, you can search Google Drive or search Google Maps or search the Chrome Web Store. So this is absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favorite shortcut tips. Okay. So I'm going to share the whole thing with you on the last slide. So don't worry. So there we are. So that's how you can do that. So let's see. There we are. Let's carry on. Okay. So now we're going to have a look at TurboScribe. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my YouTube clip, which is here. I'm going to copy the link, and in TurboScribe, which a lot of you have seen me present many times, is the following. It's a free tool which allows you to make 3 transcripts per day of up to 30 minutes per transcript. I found that wasn't enough for me, so I've actually decided to pay for the premium version, which is about £90, 100 euros for the year. And that means it's unlimited, the number of transcriptions that I do. So to give you an example, I can click on transcribe files like this. I could drag and drop an audio or video file as long as it's MP3, MP4, or one of these formats. But if I have a YouTube link, I can click here. I can then paste in this link. This also works with Google Drive. It works with Facebook Live, etc. And then I click import. Okay. From there, what you do is you choose the language. Once it's finished importing, what it's actually doing is it's exporting the audio from the video, and then it's transcribing the audio separately, which means that you can make a transcript from a YouTube clip even if there isn't a transcript that YouTube has made. And the advantage of doing this with TurboScribe is that TurboScribe is more accurate compared to YouTube. I can see that someone's mentioned, Rashid has mentioned Gaston in the chat. Gaston is also good, but you're limited to, I think it's 1 transcript a day, whereas TurboScribe, it's 3. Although I think with Gaston, you can do more than 30 minutes. Okay, so now let's choose the language, English UK. You've got 3 transcription modes, cheetah, dolphin, whale. I always go for whale because it's the most accurate. But the features that is really fantastic here is the recognize speakers option. So what that is officially called is speaker diarization. And so what that means is it can recognize when a different speaker is speaking. So I haven't watched this video before, so I don't know if there's more than one speaker, but I normally click detect automatically if you're not sure. You can also transcribe it directly to English if it's in a different language, or you can improve the background sound. But I'm just going to go for it and click transcribe files. So I'm using one of my 3 options for the day. You can also click on the microphone option, record your voice, and then open it up in ChatGPT for feedback. That's not something I'm going to show today simply because I don't have time, but that's another nice thing that you can do. And Chris Fry is a real expert on this, and I know he's in the session right now. So feel free to check out his blog. Feel free to write the blog in the chat, Chris, as well, about all his work around TurboScribe with student feedback. So it's doing it really quickly because it's a short clip. That's why I went for a short clip. So it doesn't take long to transcribe. And then as a result of that, you'll see, there we are, it's done it already. So I click on this, and then here's the text, okay? And then we've got the audio as well. So I can listen to the audio while reading like this.
If it rains, I'll probably just stay inside and watch a film.
Hello and welcome to Conditionals with Georgie. That's me.
Okay, so let's imagine it's made a mistake. What you can do is click Edit Transcript. Okay, and it's very accurate, so I can't actually see a mistake. But let's imagine there was a mistake. Let me click here, and then let's put, instead of probably, let's put probably. Okay, even though that's obviously wrong, and click Save Changes. So it just shows you how you can make an edit. It doesn't change the audio; it just changes the text. You've got speaker 3, speaker 1, speaker 2, etc. So what I could do now is click the download docx file, which is what I normally do. And then that allows me to download this as a Word document. This is what I do, literally every day I'm doing this. And so there it is. And then what you can then do is click replace. Like this, it's still loading live. There we are. And it says find what, so you could put in, say, speaker 3. Oh, let's do that again. Yep. And then I could put in, Joe. Let's say, I don't know what the name of the speaker is, but let's say it's Joe, and I click replace all. Like that. And it's now going to replace all the speaker 3s with, it works. There we are. It's done it. There we are. Can you see? And then I could go through and do all the find and replace. Having done that, I can click on review, go to spelling and grammar, and then I can then go through and do a spell check. Look, there's literally one mistake, which is probably. That's fantastic. And so now I could then export that as a PDF. I could then upload it to ChatGPT or another tool like NotebookLM, which I'm going to talk about later, and get a lovely transcript. Or sorry, not a transcript, a summary of the transcript. Okay, so that's amazing. I think TurboScribe for that sort of thing. Right, lovely. We've still got lots of time. That's good. At least 20 minutes. And let's carry on. Yes, keep the questions coming in the chat. I'm now going to briefly show you Brisk. Okay, so Brisk is a Chrome extension. You can now log in with a Microsoft account as well as with a Google account. With Brisk, to show you how I've got this set up, I can do O and tab like that. Can you see it says search Chrome Web Store? I can put in Brisk Teaching and I can go straight to the Chrome Web Store. And this is in that guide, which I've shared with you already. So that's a real time saver for finding the things that you search for regularly. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I can now go back to my YouTube clip, which is here. And because I've got the Brisk Teaching extension installed, I can click on here right now and click create. And I can, once it loads, I can click quiz. I can choose the language, which is going to be British English. And then I can then write something like create 10 multiple choice questions in B1 level English about this video, something like that. Okay. I choose the grade level. I've got the number of questions. I've got the language. I click brisket. What that will do is it will create a new tab with a Google quiz in it, which will be self-marking. So moving away from the worksheet, you're making an interactive equivalent of that. It will give it a new title. I've got my hands on the keyboard. It's doing all the magic for me as we speak. I'm not doing anything at all. I'm just allowing it to do exactly what I've asked it to do. And then all you have to do is you just need to check that all the correct answers are the correct answers. So if I click on each one, you can see there's a tick next to the correct answer, and you just make sure that you've put in a point for the answer key. Now, another thing that you can do is if you go back to the video here and you go to share and copy, go back to the Google quiz and go to here where it says add video, paste in the link that you just copied, press enter, click on the thumbnail, click insert, and now you've added the video into the Google quiz, which is very nice. Okay, and then you could then write something here such as watch the video and answer the questions. Okay, once you've done that, you can click on the share option and choose copy responder link. You share that with the students, they fill in the form, all the answers appear here under responses, and you can also export the results as a sheet as well. Now, for those people that are using Microsoft, I've created my own prompt for this, which you'll be delighted to hear about, which is here. And I'm going to show you this live right now. So hopefully it's going to work. And so here it is. This is the prompt. And so what's important here is the formatting. So I've said, for example, follow these formatting rules carefully. All questions and answers must be in, you put the language here. In this case, it's going to be English. Each question must be numbered 1 to 10. Each answer choice must be labeled as first choice, second choice, third choice, fourth choice, and so on and so forth. The important thing here is it says after each question, answer choices include the correct answer on a separate line and use this code, e.g. ANS:*X. So that's what's really important here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this, and you can obviously adapt this as well for your own context. I'm then going to go to ChatGPT like this, go to a new chat, and I'm going to paste in, there we are, the prompt. And I'm then going to go back to here, and I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to go down to the bottom of the transcript, go up to the top again, copy the whole thing like that, go back to ChatGPT, and then paste in the transcript. And so now it should have everything. So it's now going to analyze it, and it's now going to generate the multiple choice It's allowing me to preview it, and I did that intentionally so I can make sure it hasn't made mistakes, etc. That all looks good. So I could then say looks good. So now what it's going to do, it's going to generate a Word document as before. If you've run out of download options, you can always copy and paste it into a Google Doc in the way that I showed you and use the paste as markdown option. So now it's going to create, there we are. It's made a nice little quiz for me. And that should now allow me to download that. There we are. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Microsoft Forms. Like that. Okay. And then that should log me in straight away. You're very welcome, Chris. No problem. Your blog's great. So thank you for sharing that. That's great. So let me wait and see what it's going to do right now. There we are. So now I'm going to go for the quick import option, which is here. Can you see? Quick import. So I click on that. I click upload from this device. I then choose the quiz, which is there here, and I click open. I then choose quiz. Okay. As a result of that, it will then convert from the Word document into the Microsoft quiz. Okay. And I click start review. And then it's going to appear right now. And hopefully it's going to be correctly formatted. Yeah, look at that. And it's got a tick to show it's got the correct answer. That's why you put ANS colon. The only thing that you have to do is you have to give 1 point per answer. You'd have to go through and give 1 point. And then to add the video, what you do is you go back to here, click share, click copy, go back to the form, click on insert new question, choose text, click on the little icon here, click insert video, paste in the link and click add. As a result of that, you can then click on the arrow to make sure it's at the top, and then under question, you could say again, watch this video and answer the questions. Okay, perfect. And then again, you would click collect responses. Anyone can respond, copy the link, share it with the students, they fill it in, all the answers appear in the form, and you can export the results as an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so that's how you can use my prompt to do that. Okay, lovely. Let's carry on. Okay, so we're now going to have a look at Suno. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this prompt. So if you haven't seen Suno before, it's an amazing tool for creating your own AI-generated songs. So I'm going to do it all live. I'm going to use this prompt here, which again, I've got as a copy for you if you want to have a go at doing this live. So I'll put this in the chat. So we've made our worksheet. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click make a copy like this. Okay. And then I'm going to, let's have a look. So, right, I'm going to copy it from this point here. Can you see? Okay. And then we'll go to here. This is slightly different because I've got it set up for sort of like a British audience, but it will work fine. So I click copy, I go back to here, and then we're looking for the worksheet on the, let's have a look. So it's going to be this one, I think. Let's just double check. Is that right? Let's just check. No, it's this one. Yeah, here we are. Right, so I've got this information about the worksheet. So now I'm going to paste this in, and it's going to allow me to make a song about the conditional. In other words, based on the resource. So it's going to now ask me some questions. Right, what is the topic of the lesson, etc., etc. Right, okay. So I'm going to now answer this live. So I'm going to say the topic of the lesson is the conditional aimed at B1 level learners of English. The learning objective is to have an introduction to the conditional and for the students to understand the basic premise of what the conditional does. We're going to go for simple structures, simple vocabulary to help them understand the tense. And the style of music, I would like it to be a rap. Okay, so what it's going to do now, it's going to create some lyrics for me. Okay, there we are. If I had a car, I would drive all day. If I had a car, I would play and play, etc., etc. I'm going to now copy. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to Suno, which I've got open here, and wait for it to load. Okay, you go to the create option, and we'll just wait for it to load. And then what we want to do is click on the custom option. Let me just should be doing that. Let me just refresh the page. You click here we are. You click on the custom option, and that allows you to paste in the lyrics. So if you just go for the standard option, you put your prompt in here. But the advantage of using my prompt is it will then create a lyric for you based on your lesson plan or your resource. So I'm going to paste in the lyric right now. I'm going to say rap. And then the song title was Conditional Rap. There you go, something original. Conditional Rap. Here it is. And then we click create. And what it's going to do is it's going to create 2 versions of the same song. You can do 10 songs per day for free. This is quite new, this preview outcome, which I've not seen up until, I think, yesterday. But this is going to be fine. So you click on this one or this one. So let's have a quick listen. That literally took about 5 seconds, didn't it? Let's have a listen to the conditional rap.
If I had a car, I would drive all day. If I had a guitar, I would play and play. If I want some money, I would buy new shoes. If I met a singer, I would sing the blues.
I'm not sure if that's a rap, but let's listen to the second version.
If I had a car, I would drive all day. If I had a guitar, I would play and play.
Okay, I think this one is better. So you click on the 3 dots and you click download and you choose MP3. It's still, I think it's still loading at the minute. If you just waited it like a minute or 2, you'd be able to click download and download the MP3. So it's not allowing me to do that right now, but you get the idea. So that's how you can use Suno to generate a customized song for teaching some grammar or some vocabulary, etc. Right. Okay. I think I'm going to go way over, but that's okay. So Google Translate, you may not be aware that in Google Translate, there is a magic button, as Russell Stannard calls it, which is here. This is the magic button. And as a result of clicking on that, you can see it says build your own phrasebook. Now, you may not know that you can build your own phrasebook in Google Translate, but you can. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do the following prompt very quickly. In fact, let's stick with a conditional tense. So let's say, give me 5 sentences in English practicing the conditional tense, and then give me 5 translations in B1 level Spanish, exactly translating the English. Okay, so I'm now going to send that in. Okay, so we're all basing it on the conditional, I've decided. Okay, so there we are. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to copy this first one here. Okay, it could be any language. I've just chosen Spanish. Go back to Google Translate. Okay, and I'm going to choose Spanish, which is, let's have a look. That's going to be, here we are. Okay, and then I paste it in like that. It's now going to translate it for me. So let's imagine you've come across a phrase that you want to know how to say it in English. Here it is. And then I can then click here. And that's now going to save that into, can you see? It's now saved it into my phrasebook. So I could then do another one. I could go back and do another one like this. So I go back to Google Translate. I then close that, turn it off. There we are. And then click the star. That will then save it into my phrasebook. You can also do this with the Android app as well, and it syncs up with the web version. With the iOS app, for some reason, it doesn't sync, but you can collect phrases on your iOS device. It just doesn't sync with the Google web version for some reason. I don't know why that is, but there we are. Okay, we'll do one more. Okay, there we are. And obviously, you could use the microphone option as well and actually dictate it in. But my Spanish, I think, I'm not feeling confident enough to do the conditional right now, but you get the idea. So there we are. And then you can click on the export to Google Sheets option. Like this. You click import the data. And then what's going to happen now is it's going to give me a Google Sheet in a moment. There we are. And then what I can do is I can wait for it to load. So I just let it do that. There we are. And then I'm just going to, there we are, widen it out a little bit so I can see the whole thing. And then I'm going to choose that first cell, hold down Shift, click the last one, right click and copy. And then I'm going to show you some text to speech ideas. So first of all, this is Natural Reader. Okay. And what you can do is you can go to Get Started like this in Natural Reader, click on Personal, for example. And this is going to give us a model of pronunciation. I'm going to click on Ollie, who I use quite a lot.
Today, the government announced new economic measures aimed at boosting small businesses,
etc. Then you click Next. Then you click For Personal Use. Wait for it to load. There we are. I'm then going to get rid of the example like that, paste in my text, and then have a listen.
We would buy a larger house if we lived in the city. She would travel to Paris if she had the money. If I had more time, I would read more books.
Oh, I would read more books. That was interesting. Okay, so let's go. Let's see if it gets it right on the other one. So this is for this one you can't download the audio, but the next one is called TTS MP3, and you can download the audio. So let's see if it gets that one right. So I'm going to choose. Let's go to the top. Let's go for British English. Let's go for Brian, and click read.
We would buy a larger house if we lived in the city. She would travel to Paris if she had the money. If I had more time, I would read more books.
Oh, I got it right that time. And then you can click download as MP3, like that. Click save. Okay, Bob's your uncle. All right, another one is called Love Voice, LUVVOICE. It works with a whole range of languages, not just English, Spanish, and French, etc. So this is called Love Voice, and I'm going to choose English, United Kingdom, and Libby, and click Generate. Okay. And so it's just going to verify it, and then it should create the audio file for me in a moment. Okay, it's very funny. I have to verify I'm human, even though we're using AI. It's now going to generate the response. And
we would buy a larger house if we lived in the city. She would travel to Paris if she had the money. If I had more time, I would read more books.
So it got that one wrong. That's interesting. So TTS MP3 got it right. The other two have got it wrong. You can download the audio like that, and away you go. And there we are. Okay. So now what I'm going to do now is go back to here, and then I'm going to do the following. I'm going to say create a dialogue with two teenagers discussing about what they're going to do in the future using the future and the conditional tenses at B1 level English. One character is called Bob and the other character is called Mary. Okay, so it's now going to generate a dialogue for me. Like this. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm now going to copy that dialogue. And I'm going to go to this tool, which is called Google AI Studio, which if you haven't seen before is amazing. Okay. And what you do is you click on Generate Native Speech with Gemini. I can see that we've got a question coming up, I think, but I can't see which link are you using about the Google Doc. Okay, I'll talk all about that. It's all in the presentation. Right. So if I now copy and paste the dialogue into here, can you see? And then I've got two speakers. So this first speaker is going to be Bob. So I'll call him Bob, and I'm going to choose Puck, which I know is a male voice, and then speaker 2 is Mary, and I know that Sophia is a female voice, and then you click Run like this. And it didn't work. Okay, when it doesn't work, that's annoying. It will work in if I do the same thing in Edge. So I'm just going to go to Edge, where it should work. And hang on, let me just go to a new. That's annoying. Okay, Google AI Studio. If I have to log in, etc., I might not have the time necessarily to do this live right now. Let's just see if I can do it live very quickly. Google AI Studio is free, but you need to be 18 plus to use it. Okay, so it is free, but you need to be 18 plus. So should have come up now. There we are. Okay, so it's right. Get started. Okay. I will, if it's okay, I'm just going to quickly log in, simply because I would really like to show you how to do this. Oh, right. Okay, so I'm now going to have to give permission on my second device, which in this case is my phone. There we are. Okay, and yes, it's me. There we are. Okay. Right, so then you click here. You paste in the text. You go for speaker 1, which is Bob. And then you choose the name, so the voice, and then speaker 2 is Mary. And then you choose Sophia. Okay. Then you click run, and now it should work. Yeah, it's working now. So for some reason, it's being a bit silly in Chrome at the moment. So it'll take about a minute to generate this, but it will sound very professional. It's 2 voices in a dialogue based on your own transcript. So if you're the sort of teacher who likes to create your own content and you're looking for listening resources, then you can use tools like Love Voice, for example, for 1 speaker. But if you're looking for 2 speakers, then I think that this is amazing. You can also make podcasts as well with Brisk that I showed earlier.
Hi, Mary. What will you do after school today?
I will meet my friends in town. What about you?
I will play football with my team. We have a match tomorrow.
Cool. And in the future, what job will you do?
So I think that's pretty amazing, I must say. You can click on the 3 dots. You can change the playback speed like this. You can go to, say, 0.75. And then you can also download the audio by clicking download. And then that allows you to download the audio. Because I'm in Edge, let's just do that again. Then I can click save as here, okay, or save, and then it will then download it for me. So sorry it didn't work straight away in Chrome. I am aware of time, so let me just rush through a couple of these, and then we will. There's another couple of things I definitely would like to show you. So that was the TTS tools. Brisk Podcast, I haven't got time to show you right now, and that was Google AI Studio. Right. VidNoz, again, really, really easy to make your own talking avatar. You have to be 18 plus to do it. I would recommend checking that out, but I think we haven't got time to do that right now. Talos Learn, I did a webinar this week, which is a brilliant tool which allows you to have an interactive chat with one of the different characters. That's the example there. It works in a whole range of different languages. You can choose the CFR level, and you can have a real-time interaction. It's fantastic. And if you want to check out the recording, it's here. It's on my YouTube channel, which is Joe Dale, at Joe Dale. Easy to find, and you can just watch the video back. It's about an hour long, and it will give you a nice feel. And there's about 200 views already that it's had, which is great. Right, Google Earth projects. Again, I haven't got really, well, let me show you this one because I think this is amazing. So Google Earth projects, I will go to ChatGPT, go to a new chat. I do apologize if I'm going over a little bit, but it will be worth it. Right, there we are, Google Earth projects. So can someone mention a place anywhere in the world? I put here Dubai, but let's go crazy. Anywhere in the world, just mention a place.
Morocco.
Morocco, right, okay. So here we are. So Morocco. There we are. So what it's going to do, it's going to generate a file called a KML file, which is the file format you need for Google Earth. And it's going to plot a tour for us describing great places to visit in Morocco. So I'm hoping this is going to work after this big build-up. But this is pretty amazing. And what it's going to allow me to do is download the file, then go to Google Earth, and then import it as a KML file, and then it will then build the project for me. So Google Earth Projects is wonderful for bringing the world into your classroom and allowing you to do a reading comprehension activity based on real places, which you can edit as well. You can edit the text, etc., etc. So I'm hoping it's not going to take too long. This is using ChatGPT 5, so it's using the reasoning model in making sure it does a good job. So I hope it'll be worth it. But what should happen once it's finished is it'll give me a downloadable KML file, which I will then be able to import into Google Earth. And I've got Google Earth ready to go here. And there we are. So I'll just wait a few moments for it to do it. This is completely normal for it to take this amount of time. So it's analyzing it. And then here we are. and then it's made the code. Okay, so okay, it says I've also made a downloadable file, so hopefully it will work. So it's actually building the code for me live in what's called block code. Yeah, there we are. It's still doing it right now. But I'm hoping it's going to give me a link as well, because that would be ideal. There is a workaround if it doesn't work, but it would be better if I can get it to do it live, which it couldn't do when ChatGPT first came out, but it should be able to do it now, no problem at all. So as you can see, it's building it all right now for me. Yeah, there you are, Blue City. It's got the Blue City for the person that was asking about that.
Wow.
Okay, there we are. Look, can you see it says download the KML, right? So I click on that, download the KML. I go to Google Earth like this, and then wait for that to load. Okay. Okay, I'm doing this all live, everyone. Right. So then you click New. You go Import KML file to map project, upload from device. Yeah. So I do that. I click on the KML file. I click Open. And it's doing it. And there it is. Look, it's done it. Right. So then what you do is you go into slideshow mode. And then we can visit the 11 different places. So the first one, if I click on the pin, then what should happen? Nothing's happening. That's annoying. So what should happen is a tooltip should come up. Let's try another one. Let's see if that works. What should happen is you should get a little box that comes up with a description. No. Okay. If in a real situation, what I would do is I would say you haven't done it correctly, do it again. But you get the idea of how this is designed to work. But for some reason, the tooltip isn't working. But what you could do is click on the little Street View man and then click here. And then that will then take you into Street View. So the idea is that you can create, there we are. The idea is that you can create a little pop-up with some text about the place that you're visiting. But ChatGPT hasn't been able to do it this time. I'd have to do it again, but I'm not going to do it live right now. So hopefully that's giving you an idea of this. And just to finish off with, yeah, NotebookLM. I've already done this for you. So NotebookLM is a Google tool. You can upload up to 50 sources. I uploaded the PDF of the presentation earlier, and this is a video overview, it's called. I'm just going to give you a flavor of this. This is completely AI generated. Just going to play you a little bit of this. This is from the PDF of the presentation.
Boring ways of learning a new language? Well, in this explainer, we're diving into how AI is completely flipping the script, making language learning personal, interactive, and, let's be honest, way more fun.
We've all been there, haven't we? Just staring.
Cool. Okay, I think you get the idea. It is really amazing. It's just we're sort of running out of time. And then last but not least, I wanted to show you how to make a storybook in Gemini. So as we're talking about the conditional, let me just wait for this to load. Here we are. So I'm going to say the following. Create a storybook about the conditional tense aimed at B1 level learners of English in the context of talking about future plans. Okay, so what it's going to do now is going to say just a second, and then what it should do is it should generate a story of around 10 pages. It will have text to speech as well, so you can listen back to the audio. So you can hear the text being read to you, I mean. And what it does really well is it has consistent characters, which is something which AI has always struggled with. So it does that really, really well. And as a result of that, you can then create some really dynamic reading resources, moving away from the worksheet, as it were. And you could then use a tool like Brisk to then generate a quiz from the storybook. You can also share the link by clicking on the share option. There are some issues around if you have a Google for Education account or a personal account for sharing. In other words, you can't share, or if a student has a Google for Education account, they won't be able to access the book that you create, only if you have a personal account. So I think that because this is very new, as you can see, it says experimental. There are some issues around it at the moment, but I'm sure Google will get that sorted out. And there we are. We've got a lovely book that's about to appear. And it's just about to appear. There we are. Look at this. Okay, so I can click on the full screen and I can just have a quick listen as well. Here we go.
The Daydreamers. Alara sat on a park bench looking at the clouds. She was a dreamer. She often thought about what she would do in the future. Her friend, Leo, walked up and sat beside her. "What are you thinking about, Alara?" he asked. "I'm thinking about my future," she said. "If I had £1 million, I would travel the world." "That's a great idea," said Leo.
Okay, you get the idea. And then last but not least, I uploaded the same PDF into Google Gemini, and I clicked on the canvas option. And then I said, you'll see here, it says, build an interactive web app with 10 self-marking multiple choice questions with constructive feedback about this presentation. And there it is, which I can then share by the link. So you've got a multiple choice quiz based on the presentation that I've just given. And that's an example of vibe coding. There we are. Okay. I know I've gone over, but that was Google Gemini. And you'll have the whole presentation in a few seconds. I'm more than happy to take another question or two if we have those in a second. To conclude, what I've tried to do today is show you how you can use AI to save yourself time, to move away from the worksheet, to create multimodal resources for catering for different skills, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and to build independence and autonomy in students as well. Okay, that's my Facebook group, Language Teaching with AI, if you'd like to request to join. And there's the presentation. So I'd like to officially thank AIDT, Special Interest Group, for inviting me to do this. It's been lots of fun, and I'm more than happy to take some questions right now if you'd like to stay on. I'm more than happy to stay on for a bit longer. I'm sure I didn't do everything, but that's your homework to check out the other ones if you'd like to. So any questions at all from anyone to finish off with?
Thank you, Joe. We can start many questions, but maybe we'll select a few ones. So just a second. So Hind, can you see any of those questions, please? I'm trying to kind of scroll up. You know, the comments are very positive. People, they're really enjoying this. The ideas, Joe, they're very creative, and we're definitely going to apply this into our classrooms. And Gemini actually is amazing. You know, I've been adapting this, especially the books, the story books. It's amazing for those who like books, of course. So we saw some questions, Joe, related to I think
I have some here.
The tools. Yeah, can you see it, Hind? Yeah.
Yeah, from Rashid. There's a question which is, which AI tool or tools, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, seem to work better for creating activities? And what do you think of Notebook, LM, for that purpose as well?
Okay, so that's quite a big question. So I would say that what's important is that you choose one large language model, ideally, such as ChatGPT, Gemini, etc., and then it gets to learn you over a period, learn how you work and what you like and what you don't like, etc., and your writing style, more importantly, over a period of time. So that's what I've done. I've been using ChatGPT for, say, 2 years. So that's my main large language model that I use. But I also use Gemini for things like making a storybook, doing a bit of vibe coding with that interactive activity. I love NotebookLM for creating things like summaries of transcripts. And what's nice about NotebookLM is you are less likely to hallucinate with it because of the fact you're uploading sources. And so it's just going to draw on those sources rather than on a large language model when it could sort of go off at a tangent, which is not what you want. So if you're looking for that it's not going to hallucinate, NotebookLM is very, very good for that sort of thing. If you're looking for getting it to learn your style and getting to know you, I would recommend one large language model, be whatever it might be. I like ChatGPT. And if you're looking for factual information, I would recommend Perplexity, because Perplexity, what it does is it's like a search engine, and it's also an AI tool, like a large language model. So what it's doing is it's searching for answers on the internet, like a Google search type thing, and then it uses the AI to make an AI generated summary. So for factual information, I would recommend Perplexity every time. And in that guide, it will explain how you press P and tab, and then you can then search Perplexity from the Omnibox. So you just write in your prompt, having tapped P and tab, and then it will go straight to Perplexity. So that's another little tip for you.
Thank you very much. We have another question from Elizabeth. Is Google AI Studio free?
Yeah, so it's completely free, but you do need to be 18 plus to use it. So you can't use it with students below the age of 18. But obviously, as a teacher, you can use it to generate a dialogue and then turn that into a listening resource in the way that I've described with the QR code worksheet option, or into whatever type of activity you would like, be it interactive with a Google quiz or with a vibe coded exercise as well.
And thank you very much. And our last question from Chris. Can you upload a PowerPoint file to NotebookLM?
No.
Maybe by saving it as a PDF?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you can't upload a PowerPoint, a Microsoft Word document, etc. natively. You need to save that resource as a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet, etc. Save it as a PDF, and then you upload that PDF. So you can have many sources, but all focused on the same topic, and then it will give you a very good answer. So I find that it's better for giving you a summary of a transcript compared to the premium version of ChatGPT. It's really wonderful. So I'd really recommend NotebookLM, and the fact now that you've got things like audio overviews, video overviews, flashcards, quizzes, reports you can do, and you can click on the little pencil tool and you can customize each one. So you can say, for example, focus on X, Y, and Z in the audio overview, the video overview. So what I'll probably do is I'll upload that video that I was trying to show you there quickly to my YouTube channel, and then I can then share it when I do a write-up of this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for a very engaging session. And now I'd like to hand over to Yusra to close the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much for sharing, generously today all the resources. So I'm receiving messages in the meantime of teachers wanting the recording, wanting the live, and a copy of the presentation. As you can see, you can scan the QR code so that you can get your copy of the presentation. We'll be posting this webinar on our YouTube channel, also on the TESOL Conference's YouTube channel. It's live on Facebook. So, and also we've dropped in the chat a feedback survey. Would love to hear your feedback as well. And also so that you can get your certificate of attendance. And also don't forget an important date, which is for us, our upcoming international conference with TESOL Conferences that will be held at the American University in Dubai on the 7th and 8th of February, 2026. And please tune in for other events. We still have other surprises. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. You kept on the energy from TESOL Kolayas to here to everywhere. It's such a pleasure working with you, Joe. And we appreciate learning a lot from you. And we'll go, myself included, step by step and go to create and automating worksheets. From now on, no boring worksheets at all in classrooms. Thank you again. And please, for your questions, for anything as a follow-up to this webinar, we have our WhatsApp group as well. Please join it. Please join the group of Joe. And we'll be there to answer all the questions related to this. Last but not least, the AIDT SIG is the learning space to all, the artificial intelligence and digital technologies. It's evolving as we are. Thanks again. Thank you for your time. And see you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.